Okay, hello. I'm doing a quick decode on John Wick 4. I'm just doing it on of course, the film's not out yet. Don't come out to the 24th of March. Um, so we're gonna take a look at some of the scenes in the teaser material, the trailer stuff for it. And I don't really want to go too deep into decoding every little number in here. I just kind of want to flip through it real quick without having to explain every little detail. All this stuff's pretty much explained in my previous videos, but this is absolutely loaded. And if you don't know what John Wick is all about, John Wick is basically, it's the same story as The Matrix. We've even got Keanu Reeves um, playing the main character role in it, and he's basically um, trying to get out of the Matrix is what's essentially happening in this film. Okay, a lot of killing going on in the film, and it's basically Keanu who's killing basically as everybody. So I guess let's just start. We're kind of at the beginning of this clip here, and let's just start with what's going on. They're turning over these cards on the table. I don't really know too much about it other than what you can see here. They kind of remind me of tarot type cards, and they've got several numbers that are coming up. We've got the 84. He's got the 8 up already. He's turning over a number 4, and then I think he turns over a 14. And again, I don't want to go too crazy into decoding this, but if we go to my chart of Lorraine, and for new people, this chart is just a chart of balancing numbers. So if you are new, I guess my little teaser information here is check these numbers out. Okay, this is all to do with the Queen, 9/11, her death date, her burial. Okay, here we have the Twin Towers in here. Okay, this is why this 33 is important at the bottom of here as well with the Twin Towers. Here's our 88 miles an hour. Here's our 1955 for Back to the Future. So there's just a few things just to sort of get you thinking about this thing. This is not just random numbers that I've put in a table. These are all following Fibonacci type sequences. So these are, this is a real number set. Fibonacci and Lucas numbers is a real number set. And if you want more explanation on this, go watch this video. Okay, the chart that predicts the future explained. Just go to my back catalogue, take a look at it. That's why I'm going to leave this little bit of explanation here. But these are all balancing numbers, golden ratio numbers. Okay. What is interesting, because we're going to go back and re-reference this. Okay, that 84. I just did that video on this cross that's in here. Okay, and that 84 is the combination of 37 and 47 here. So 47 being freedom, Independence Day, and 37 God, L. Okay, so that's kind of interesting already with that number popping up. And the number 14, check where it pops up here, here, again 14 here with L right here, 377 this time. And the number 14 here, look what is in between it. Here's our 5/9 date, the 9th of May, for potentially the Hoover Dam destruction date. Okay, so with all that being said, let's just crack on further on into this thing. Oh yeah, by the way, here's another 144 here, and it's also the completion number, all these numbers totaled up for this row that starts with pi. Okay, and pi is the dam. Okay, for various reasons that I've explained in other videos. And bye bye Miss American Pie is what we may be looking at. Okay, what's going on here? Throwing all that rubbish up. Now, what ends up happening here is they speak a little bit of French, and I'm not sure what the one guy says, but Keanu says something like Cure, and that means Sacred Heart. And of course, the Sacred Heart is the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Okay, and I think that's the reference there. Looking at Wikipedia and trying to figure out what he was saying, that's what I came up with. If anybody else comes up with something different, let me know. But just check out the mirror table here. He's got the 3, the 10 up, and if we look at 310 in the table, and he's also going to flip a 23, and that's probably going to be enough info for that little scene. Okay, so here's the 23, and I just did the thing on Madonna with the 23. Okay, the 3rd of the 2nd of March, and how that links into February as well. And within there is another hidden 14 number, or a 14 reference, because within there is the 1 that comes every 4 years. So every quarter year, every year there's a quarter that is added up that creates that leap year day of the 29th of February. Okay, and so I did a bunch of talking about that, and I don't want to go back into it and rehash it all. But this is important, this 20 Thieves being referenced again, because I'm going to show you something here in a minute. In fact, I'll talk about it now because I'll probably forget later, but the film is coming out on March the 24th, and those numbers are right here. Okay, I've not drawn around that very well, but if you just read back this way here, 324 is right here. So we're getting a couple of references now to these numbers here, and again, what is here and what is the other side? Okay, we've got God, and we've got the destruction of the Hoover Dam, maybe. Okay, all right, so we've got the release date taken care of, and this idea of the quarter. And I don't really want to faff around with the 14, but it's another Jesus or the one being born reference, because the quarter 1.25, okay, 1 1/4 now, is an abbreviation of 1225. Okay, and if we were to write 1 1/4 a little bit differently, 1 1/4, okay, this 114, now kind of is referencing back to Christmas. Okay, I just want a quick explanation of that. I don't know if I think I've said that before in an old video, but it's difficult to keep track of what I've said and what I haven't said. But anyway, let's go back to the thing and let's get clicking through it, because otherwise it'll be all day. But look at the mirror and the silverness here, because he's dealing with the system. Look what we've got in the background here, the Eiffel Tower. I can't remember what I was watching, but the guy was talking about this thing being, and basically what it is a combination of, we've got the Alpha and Omega together, okay, those symbols, and we've got the dam with the 1 on top of it, if you like, because we've got the 2 legs. If you were just looking straight down on this, we've got the 2 legs and the dam face here, and maybe the 1 is stuck inside the dam at this point as well. So depends on how you want to look at what that really means. And of course they're in Paris, and Paris is, without getting too far into it again, is a reference back to the fictional system. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, because otherwise I'll be here for an hour just telling you about Paris and France and what's going on there. Not quite sure what's going on underneath this table and what these are. It would be interesting to be able to see what those actually are, and whether that is a reference back to the two, I want to say the 2 bronze statue winged angels at the Hoover Dam. I'm not sure but when we actually see the film, this might be a little bit easier to see what these table legs actually are. What else did I want to say about this? Not an awful lot. I could wiffly waffle on again. Just note these two little stand, like they're almost like stand, I don't know, lamp stand things, but this reminds me again of the old $1 bill that I was just talking about with the 5.9 reference in the dollar bill. This reminds me of that older version of it, the silver certificate version, where we have the sort of lamp posts on each side. So again, you know, I'm just picking out stuff that I'm seeing here, and there's a ton of it. Okay. Again, the box on the table. I don't know if it's a reference to Pandora's box again. The amount of time we've seen a little box on a table. He's just turned his 14 there. We'll crack on through this now. They spend quite a bit of time for the length of the trailer. They spend quite a bit of time on this first little scene here. Anyway, then what we're going to move into is things start getting a bit livelier. Okay, this first scene, this is, I think, supposed to be at the top of the Eiffel Tower, broadcasting for this is some kind of radio station for what is the Matrix, basically, which is the control system that he's trying to get out of. Interesting with the hands here. Okay, that reminded me of the hand that is in iPet Goat 2. Okay, if you come and watch this thing, you'll see it. But that hand just reminded me. There's a hand in iPet Goat 2 that looked like. And the other interesting thing about the Eiffel Tower being used here is, if you go back to the James Bond film A View to a Kill, with Zoran in it and whatnot, there's a lot of interesting references in that film to what I think is going to happen, and there's several interesting references back to Space Odyssey in there, believe it or not. And so, I mean, I don't know what to say about it really, but the whole thing starts off, well, it doesn't start off on the Eiffel Tower, but there is a scene with the Eiffel Tower in it, which is interesting. And then actually, I think Duran Duran, who did the music for it, also go to the Eiffel Tower and do their little cruddy music video there as well. So there's some interesting stuff going on. Anyway, there it is. We got a nice little 42 reference here with his suit, and there's almost a Las Vegas reference on the wall in the background here. Right here, this is Lilas, I think, or something like that. But it's interesting that we've got just the Las here for Las Vegas. And again, they're in the underground, or some kind of metro system or something disused. And again, how many times has that popped up in films? Speed, it's in Speed. What the other one, V for Vendetta. In fact, it's in so many films. It's just crazy. Anyway, next scene. This is really interesting. We're in some kind of a nightclub, and we've got what looks like water coming over a wall here. This to me is very Hoover Dam referenced. We've also got sort of a porthole type. What I would say this is this is kind of like the monolith right here, okay, in 2001. And if you look at the space that we've got down here, we've almost got the two ground zero holes, okay, going on right here. If you can see my cursor, we've got one there that's in red and one that's in blue, which is pretty interesting because, of course, one tower, Tower 1 would have been the masculine tower, the living man, that would be red, And the other one, of course, it has that observation deck that's blue and white at the top of it, Tower 2. Again, we've got the red and blue, and we've got the holes here that are left behind, like on 2001: A Space Odyssey, with the monolith here. And there's water flowing over all of this stuff. So again, pretty interesting. And in fact, there's another scene where he's coming down this tunnel back here, and I think he's coming through here. So this might be the rebirth. This might actually be the start of the killing, and this might be the kind of rebirth sequence. And I'm guessing they'll have several little rebirth sequences in the film. But again, kind of reminds me of the blood river in Shining, the idea of this blood flowing here, and again, the red river of blood flowing through your veins again, and also the birthing canal. Of course, there's a lot of blood happens when that event happens, when the birth happens. So, just a ton of stuff in here. Okay, here he comes. Oh, March the 24th. We'll go to March the 24th in a minute as well and have a look at it. This is interesting. I don't really know what's going on here, but they're going to have a bit of a killing session in this area as well. Want you to note the two targets here, and those targets are, of course, the ensign of the RAF, the RAF symbol, and also the band The Who, which, by the way, they've got a nice album cover with the kind of concrete monolith, but that is reminiscent of another dam that collapsed back before they built the Hoover Dam. I've talked about that before. Got a lot of shots of him coming through doors. There's an interesting part coming up, actually. And the other thing with the RAF symbol there is the fact that dam busters. Okay, 1943. We have the film, and we have the actual true to life raid in the Second World War, and yeah, I mean there's several references to that as well. But the RAF, okay, if I could speak. Actually, there was a shot. Oh, maybe it's not in there. I'm probably going to miss some bits and bobs out of here, actually. This would be right up Finis Temporis's alley, some of this decode that's coming up in a minute. Again, they got to have him, see, in the tunnels, in the underground. This scene, actually, I don't know where they're at, on top of a building maybe, or somewhere. It kind of reminded me of a scene in a Billy Idol video, and I can't remember which one it is, but there is a scene where they're kind of on a rooftop. Kind of reminded me that of a little bit. I'll have to go and have a look at that and see how they compare, or whether I'm just grasping at straws there. Freedom. Yes. Okay. I know there's a bunch more. Oh, look, he's all wet here. So there's obviously, there's going to be a place where he's doing this rebirth thing. Again, that RAF symbol in the background. I'm not really quite sure about these drums. These are Far East, sort of. I think they have them in China and Japan and all those places over there. Don't really know a lot about them though. There's an interesting scene here. Hang on a minute. This is pretty interesting. Not this guy. No. I'm sorry this is so painful that I've got to go through it like this. Okay, this scene's interesting. I'll show you something here now. Now check this out, right? There's a little discrepancy here. Now, I don't really want to play it, but see how he's going to burst through these windows here? And he's going to fly off this building, right? Let me show you something else. Because I was looking at another one, and I'm like, oh, I noticed a slight discrepancy. Let's see if I can find that same scene. And there's this is interesting as well. While I'm on it, let me just talk about it. This scene here, we've got Yanis, okay, and it's even written on the wall, past and future here, okay. So we've got Yanis in one of the scene shots as well. And we've also got archers in this as well, which is, again, those targets are supposed to be archery targets, I think, the RAF Who symbols. And again, the reference with Who is the Hoover, okay? Just like we had the Wu flu with the Who as well, with the World Health Organization. But we've got the archer like Odysseus, David Bowman, okay, David Bowie, all references to Odysseus, okay, and he is the master archer, okay. Boy, if I could find this scene. Oh, this guy's getting stabbed through the hand here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the idea of being nailed to the cross. I'm already up to this other spot as well now, blimmin' hell. Let me keep going through this, and then we'll backtrack to that jumping out the window thing. The Porsche 911. This is Finis Temporus's, kind of. I'd never even have thought about a Porsche 911 before watching Finis Temporus's like breakdowns with how many times this thing shows up. But of course, they've managed to put it in the film. It's running somebody over, and in the background we've got what is actually the Arc de Triomphe. But we do have two columns basically on each side of that thing, and then the top is joined with the arch, okay, and that is the connection or the balance between the two sides of reality. So this is again Twin Towers again, and interestingly enough, we've got these guys upside down now, like they fell, okay. So with the Porsche 911 there. And again, more Finis Temporis types decode stuff here with the eclipse and the sun being eclipsed here. The corona. I wanted to get to that one. Here it is. Blimmin' hell. Let's look what he's jumping through. Let's back up just a little bit here, because this is interesting. In this scene, right, compared with the other scene, you'll notice that the two doors in the middle are missing. In this one, the two doors are there. Okay, he hasn't jumped. The doors just aren't. They just simply aren't there, which is super. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it's a reference to the Twin Towers being gone, right, and then jumping through and out of the Matrix here, and also the fact that we've got 1, 2 towers here, and in the other scene we've got 1, 2, and 1, 2. So we've got like 11, and we've got like 11, 11. And again, at the Hoover Dam, we have the 2 inlet towers on one side, which is an 11, and the 2 inlet towers on the other side, which is an 11. So I think, because they don't leave this stuff out as a mistake, this is done on purpose. I think this is a reference to 9/11 and what basically is the Hoover Dam thing, which is again 11/11. If you look at some other decodes, why that would be 11/11 is explained. But we've basically got the 11 returning is the symbolism there. and it's returning in a balanced format. So we have 1111 now. But that, I thought that was interesting and definitely worth talking about. Again, we've got a lamp here on the side as well. What was going on about with the lampshade, and then of course there is some scenes with him in the desert. So we have that idea of Arizona. Of course, he's supposed to be somewhere off in the Middle East here, dealing with the guy. I don't know if this is the guy that's supposed to be ultimately in charge or whatever. I don't know. But again, this is actually a better shot in this sequence with the 911, with the Porsche 911, and the Twin Towers in the background. You can kind of it looks better in this one. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. Hopefully that was a Porsche 911. I made a comment in one of Finis Temporis's videos about he had a video and there was a Porsche in it, but it wasn't a 911. And I said, "Oh, you forgot to." I don't know if I said you forgot to mention it or something like that, something to those of words. And he said, "Well, it wasn't a 911. It was a Porsche Boxster." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But it turns out what the Porsche Boxster was. This is just an interesting little side fact. That Boxster that was in it was I can't remember what the decode he was doing, but it was super interesting anyway because the Boxster is basically the ugly twin of the cheap ugly twin of the 911, which I thought was super interesting. Got a lot of the same parts, so it was almost like it wasn't a reference, but it was a reference to 911. So I mean, I don't know what you say about this stuff, and the idea of it being the Boxster, and you'll see the box throughout this thing. There was some other stuff in here, but what I want to go to, there was some other bits and bobs, but I'm going to leave it there. Okay, that's enough for the video. March the 24th. I have got here John Wick, Chapter 4, stylized as JW4, which is interesting again because J is what the hell is J? J's 10, okay. W's 23. There's that 23 again. So 10, 23, and a 4 on the end. Okay, so let's just do this where we can actually see what's going on. And actually, before I do that, let's just look at the running time 169, and again the release date is the 24th of March. Okay, so if I go here and let's write that J, so it was blimmin' hell, JW4, okay, which is 10, 23, and a 4. Okay, do you see what's written there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and when we come to the 10th column here, which will do completion, and we come along our Lucas numbers, that's our timeline that we're more concerned with. 123 is to do with the end of that timeline, okay, the end of the cycle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, very interesting, because it's also the start of the thing as well, because those numbers do occur at the start of this as well, which they don't necessarily occur in, like the Fibonacci sequence 1, 2, 3, 4 does not occur, you know. And again, these other ones, the pi row and the phi row, neither, we don't get that sequence there. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning and at the end is interesting. Let's get rid of all that for a second, because I want to show you as well, what I was talking about a minute ago, is the date for the release, which is 324. Okay, yeah, 324, March the 24th. which is right here. And again, with the JW4, this 1, we've got all these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all right in here. So this is kind of insane that they're referencing this. And I think what they're doing is they're referencing the idea of the journey back home to God via coming out of this thing, coming out of the dam. Okay. So let's just have a quick look at a couple more bits with the dates in some of the other John Wick stuff, and this will be interesting. So bear with me. Here's John Wick. Oh, this is chapter 3. Do we have chapter 2? Chapter 2. Okay, number 2. Here we got the 122. The 122. 122 minutes. Again, I don't know how many times I've gone on about that train crash on 10/22. Look at the release date here, January the 30th, 3/1 reference, and February the 10th. But the January the 30th, again, the 13 is a reference back to this column here, and the reference back to Mary. Okay. And you can also go the other way with that 13 to the 31, which again is interesting. When I did that cross decode the other day, again our numbers in that cross right here, you know, we can add this 13 to the 18 and we get 31, which again we've gone from 13 from Mary, and we've gone back into the matrix. You know, when we've gone into the fiction ourselves, so the 18 for the number of man has combined into Mary, and maybe not in a good way. So that could indicate the reverse of 13 would indicate the matrix. So 31. So the idea of 13 becoming 31, okay, with the number 18 added to the number 13, so the number of man going into Mary, we get that 131 of that other train in Back to the Future. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And also, I will say this, is that the 122 is the total for, I actually undo that, the 122, which I think I said in that other video, the 122 is the total up to this point, up to the 47. So the total for coming out of the matrix, Independence Day, 47, the 4th of July, is referenced back with, we can make that a 10 with that 1, the 122 of October the 22nd with that train crash. Okay. So that is really important, and some people will be listening to this now going, what is he going about that train crash? Okay. If you look up train crashes Paris, steam train crash Paris, 18s whatever it was, I don't know, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go to it now, but this is for people that basically are following along with the channel here, some of this stuff. But yeah, that's all those numbers added up. So we've totaled it. So that's the end. You know, I like the idea of the total is like it's like the finish. You know, when you're like adding up, doing your books or whatever, it's like the end, the totality. Okay, so adding up is quite interesting. So that 122 is for right here. Okay. What else do I want to say? Let's go back to the rest of these dates. So we've kind of took care of 2. Let's go to 3 now. Try and do them in some kind of order. Look what we've got for John Wick 3. 9th of May, and we've also got the 17th of May. So we've got the 157 and the 9th. The 9th? Did I say the 9th of May? The 9th of May. So we've got our 9th. So not only we've got our this day for the dam destruction, but also completion with the 157 there. Reference with May both times. Okay, the 17th of May and the 9th of May. So that is absolutely blooming insane. Of course, the pi is the dam. That's what we've got to remember, yeah? D is 4. A is the 1 that is inside the dam, okay? And then M is 13. Okay? Read that backwards. Okay? 314 with the 1 stuck inside there, okay? Let's get rid of all that. Let's go back to what have we done now? I don't know what I've done now. And this one is the first John Wick. 124 101. Okay, 101 Hoover Dam Gematria 101. Okay, so that's a really good reference. And then the 124, again, being in the dam. Let me just explain this. Well, how do I explain this actually? 124. Look, 1225, right? Christ's birthday, right? That abbreviates down to. We just take these twos and condense them down to a single 2. Okay, 125. Okay, 124 is the eve. It's Christmas Eve. Okay, the eve is the dam. It is pi. Okay, there we go. 124 explained. We can do other things with 124. You know, again, the 124, the eve. Look, it's not a stretch to just. That could be several other dates now, you know, and the date that springs to mind with these numbers is 4/21. Yeah, the Queen. This is Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, QE2. Okay, 4/21. Okay, so this is why this number is so important. You know, it represents again just another version of the matrix. I think I'm going to leave it there for the decode. You know, of course, there's the dog in the thing. The idea of the dog is the underlying theme. This whole thing is initiated with John Wick's in John Wick 1 with John Wick's dog dying. Okay, this begins the whole thing, and all the way through the different guises we have. Interesting, these boxes here could almost bit small for a coffin, but could give you that idea, couldn't it? But we have that theme running through with the dog being by his side as he's trying to get out of the matrix now, as his first dog died. So Sirius died early, but there's that lamp. Interesting. I'm going to leave it there. It's interesting that these are split into 3 sections as well. Excuse me, like the Twin Towers. Oh gosh, dear oh dear. I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I've missed anything major out of there. I think I've really hit on every little idea. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I think there was one more thing. Hang on a minute. Oh, that's what that drum's called. I don't know how you spell that. Taco. There wasn't really anything interesting with that, but what would it be? John Wick 4. Okay. Again, 37, 10, 25, 16. These are all important numbers, of course. So this is, you know, I mean, I don't want to explain it, but you can, you know, this is all stuff that dealt with before. I'm gonna leave it there. Don't think there's anything else. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I'm gonna probably try and watch the film when it comes out, but don't know how successful I'll be at being able to watch it. But might take me a few weeks before I get to watch it. So I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah. There was another decode that I wanted to do. I don't think I've got time to do it tonight. Maybe I will try and do it. But anyway, I will catch you on the next one. All right. Bye.